Hey everyone, I'm Icy, and thank you so much for joining me. I hope everyone's having a great day. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how to use propaganda to influence your prospect's behavior. So here's a classic interview question that still trips up the occasional aspiring salesperson today. Sell me this pen. Ever heard this one before? The gist is this: I hand you an ordinary run-of-the-mill fountain pen and you try to sell it to me. Now, this scenario was featured brilliantly in the movie The Wolf of Wall Street and is still a somewhat common interview question in the modern sales world. Most people try to rattle off as many features as the pen as they can imagine, knowing full well that they're fudging the facts. For example, it never runs out of ink, or it's made of the same material as the International Space Station, or this pen never bleeds. Well, there's no right answer to this riddle. Although a common response is, can you write down your name for me? Clever? You be the judge. But the real trick is turning the question around on the asker. Now, this exercise might seem like a little more than a lesson in acing an interview for a job you're probably not even applying for. However, it's also a key lesson that so many marketers screw up. You see, savvy marketers use network marketing strategies to sell more than a product. And here's the thing, in this sell me this pen scenario, it's not about the pen at all. It's about the need for the pen. I mean, you could replace the pen with online course or a digital product, and it's still the same scenario. And here's what you don't want. You don't want to understand the features and benefits of your product, but get stuck with a deer in the headlight looks on your face when it actually comes time to sell to your prospects. So always remember this key point in all network marketing strategies. It's not about the product, and it's not about features or benefits either. I mean, people simply don't buy anything for external reasons. They buy due to internal pains and desires. And if you're selling anything, you can have an amazing, mind-blowing product, yet still fumble if you haven't engaged your prospect's internal state. Now, I've talked about the need to tap into mass desires before. That's because the best marketers out there don't simply sell products. They sell desire, results, and identity. And you can too. All it takes is a quick lesson in propaganda, the eggs and bacon school of marketing. Now, when I talk about propaganda, I want you to understand I'm not talking about the fake news debate that's taking the world by storm. Propaganda is simply the act of changing public discourse to sway people's actions. Sure, the term itself does have sinister associations, but that's not always the case. The principles of propaganda work so well in the world of marketing in ways that most of us aren't even aware of. Now, I'll give you one of my favorite examples from the 1920s. See, during the Roaring '20s, the typical American breakfast consisted of toast, coffee, and orange juice. Families back then had a go-go-go mentality and rarely had time for a traditional hot sit-down meal. I mean, I know this totally sounds familiar. Well, back in the 20s, this was a major concern for the Beech Nut Packing Company. And the reason for that is that because their main product that they sold was bacon. And back then, bacon for breakfast was a foreign concept. I mean, people just weren't on board with its fatty, salty goodness for breakfast. So the good people at Beech Nut Packing Company decided to take a slightly unconventional approach to dealing with their bacon problem. They hired a famed propagandist, and the man they hired was Edward Bernays. Now, simply put, Edward Bernays was the LeBron James of propaganda. Bernays was far from your traditional ad man. He didn't create his campaign for bacon by putting it on sale or trying to sway people with its delicious flavor. He didn't dress up salesmen in pig costumes on the street to give away free samples. Nor did he try to create a brilliant bacon-based recipe book. Now, none of these are actually terrible ideas, and I get that. But instead, what Bernays did is he took a totally different approach, an approach that had little to do with bacon itself. Bernays quickly realized the best way to get bacon on the breakfast plate was to indirectly influence the daily eating habits of everyday families. And to do this, he sought out and identified the trusted authority figures on the standard American diet. He didn't talk to butchers or grocers or even the families themselves. Instead, he sent out a survey to 5,000 doctors across the country asking one simple question: do you support a hearty breakfast or a light one? And 4,500 of those doctors, that's 90% of the doctors he sent the survey to, agreed that a hearty breakfast was the way to go. So the propagandists in Bernays took that response and ran wild with it, arranging for an educational campaign to be published in newspapers across the country, proclaiming 9 out of 10 doctors recommend a hearty breakfast. And guess what was suggested as the go-to hearty breakfast? Bacon and eggs. Obviously, the campaign was a massive success. Walk into any diner across the country and you'd be hard-pressed not to find a side of bacon on a majority of any given table. Most of the tables there in the diner. And by the way, that's exactly where the 9 out of 10 doctors recommend cliche in the informational world came from. Anyhow, the key takeaway here is that Bernays was able to uncover arguably the most effective way to advertise bacon without actually advertising bacon. He ran a survey and publicized the results. That's it. Notice that I never mentioned running ads in that story either. As a marketer, you should strive to take a similar approach because sometimes it pays to act less like an advertiser and more like a propagandist. I know it sounds like an odd marketing strategy, but here's what I mean. Advertising doesn't have to be advertising. So if you want to advertise like Bernays, it pays to understand psychology. In fact, Bernays was actually Sigmund Freud's nephew. And as a result, Bernays was knee-deep in Freud's concept of subconscious desires and motivations, which he used to influence public opinion on a larger scale. Beyond bacon, Bernays went on to work under 2 U.S. presidents and was listed as one of the 100 most influential Americans of the 20th century by Life magazine due to his accomplishments as a PR mastermind. A couple of which include the way he popularized the concept of the music room in one's home as a means for him to get people to buy pianos. He was also responsible for the mandate requiring hairnets at certain jobs. But most famously, though, Bernays was also responsible for overturning the idea that nice girls don't smoke. Back in the 1950s, Bernays arranged a massive PR demonstration which saw fashionable women protesting in the streets of New York City while lighting up, inspiring women across the country to smoke in public and challenge the double standard. As a result, the idea of women smoking as something taboo dissolved in a matter of weeks. Again, Bernays' success in the world of PR has less to do with the products he was looking to push versus influencing the desires of the public. The desire to be healthier through eating a hearty breakfast, the desire to be sophisticated by owning a piano, or the desire to end a form of oppression by smoking in public. Now, in each case, the product is secondary. What comes first is something much, much bigger. So what's bigger than your product? Effective ads are about so much more than catchy jingles, buzzworthy benefits, and the thing you're selling through your network marketing strategies. Now, I'm not saying that products don't matter, but a sense of identity is so much more important to your prospects. Now, let's go back to Bernays and how identity shaped his campaigns. Bernays wasn't selling bacon to American families. He was selling better health because people don't care about bacon, but they do care about their health. Rarely are we ever convinced to purchase a particular product, but rather a larger idea, a concept, or an image. The world of network marketing plays by the exact same rules, but marketing these tactics is about much more than just generating leads and increasing your conversions. It's about the values of entrepreneurship. You see, everything you learn from me is ultimately a matter of identity. Think about it. Entrepreneurs, such as yourself, if you are watching this video, have a different identity than your typical employee. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with working as an employee. But I think you'll agree there's a difference between identifying as an employee versus identifying as an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs, even if they're currently working a job, have their eyes on building their own enterprise, and for good reason too. Entrepreneurship is a path to the ultimate desire, which is freedom. Freedom above all else is what aspiring business owners desire. I mean, ask yourself, do you want the rude awakening of an alarm clock? Do you want to be forced into a miserable traffic jam commute? Or do you want to be hounded by a boss who wants you to come in on a Sunday to finish up your reports? Again, these are all matters of identity, particularly if you're building your business online through network marketing strategies. You want to be the one steering the ship. You want to be your own captain, working on your own time and terms. And you definitely want to decide how, when, and where you work. So when you're communicating with your audience, these points should come first and foremost. And yeah, you want to use all the other marketing tactics I talked about in the past, stuff like focusing on benefits, being ultra specific, and offering up strong proof elements. I mean, those things still matter, of course, but never lose sight of the big picture. Everything should be framed around a larger vision. So ask yourself, how are you making your prospects feel? Is your product going to help them live the life they've always dreamed of? Allowing them to make the rules. Are you helping them feel empowered to achieve their desires? Because it doesn't matter what you're selling to an entrepreneur, whether it's a pen or a hearty breakfast. Once you tap into a sense of freedom, you're golden. Nothing else even comes close. And that's the bottom line. So now you're clear on what you're actually selling. How do you put your message in front of your market? Now, as you've learned, uncovering your prospects' true desires is the first aspect of sealing the deal. The second is exposing your offer to your audience through effective network marketing strategies, which for us typically means placing shiny ads out there on today's hottest advertising platform. Fortunately, even if you're a technophobe, you don't have to let the technical side of marketing hold you back from finding hot new prospects. I've got that covered. In fact, I'm offering you access to a free 10-day online recruiting bootcamp. It's a course where you'll be guided through how to build your business using the latest technology, where prospects come to you on a daily basis, already interested in what you've got. You can take the advantage of these methods starting today, no matter how much online prospecting or recruiting experience you have currently. This is by far the most efficient and fun way to build your business today. So if you're ready to get started, simply click on the link above this video and I'll gladly give you access to Elite Marketing Pro's free 10-day online recruiting bootcamp. Thanks again for joining me. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.